direct inside of the studio. Know how well the connection's going to hold on, so we'll just see how it goes. I'm in the live, it might end up saying like trying to reconnect, but we'll see how we go. I'm back today. I've got a quiet studio session. The person I had booked in had sadly said that he could no longer now make it today, and it was a little bit too late to sort of get somebody else to come in. Like I could have said like to some people who were booked in like in future weeks, like there's slots come available today, but it was very like last minute. I didn't find out till like sort of like 2 nearly 3 o'clock this afternoon, and it was just like it's too late to try and get somebody obviously when they've maybe got plans themselves. So I thought I'd come live and I'd give some little music updates and stuff like that, and just sort of talk a little bit about like music things going forward. I've got a few things that I want to update you all on, some things that I want to sort of get going. So the first thing I do want to talk about is podcasts. Now, I've been saying for like the past nearly 2 years now that I want to do a podcast, and then at the beginning of the year, I had an idea for a podcast all set out, and I even recorded my first episode, and then I was waiting on a guest mix, and then essentially the person who was sort of like supposed to do the guest mix never did the guest mix, and then I just got busy, things just got busy, and then before you know it, the months had passed, and it really bugged me because I really wanted to get the Now That's What I Call Donk sort of off the sort of off the platform, and sort of start doing it, and then I never got the guest mix from the said person. And I've had a little bit of a sort of like change of mind since then, and I want to kind of like bring like the podcast back, but like under a different name and kind of like under a different sort of vibe. So I want to focus it around more like hard dance, like not just bounce. So like bounce, hard house, hard bounce, sort of like clubland, all them kind of like, I guess what you'd call like subgenres, and not just have like a bounce podcast. So turn the fan off. It's blowing the mic. Oh, sorry, bro. It was really warm in here when I first arrived, so I put the fan on. Yeah, so I want to sort of like launch this podcast really, and I don't know how to go about it yet. Like I don't, because I want to have guest mixes on it, but I kind of at the same time, like I don't want that stress of like having to chase people up. Like, have you recorded your guest mix yet? Like, like for me personally, if someone says to me, like, like, do you want to jump on a guest mix for a podcast? I'm like, yeah, too right, I do. And then like I get on and do it, and I like, because I've got a passion for music, and I'm like, whether the person's big or small, like I'm happy, like I want to boost my music as much as I can. So if that's like, whether it's a big person or not, if that's like another platform where people can like listen to one of my mixes, or where people like can hear some of my production, it's like a win-win fee for me, like, and I'm happy to do it. Like I'm happy to spread my name across like wherever I can, if it's going to alternatively help me grow, which it might not massively, but if it just adds that like one extra follower or two extra followers, it's still, in a lot of sense, it's been worth it in sense, because it all adds up. So I do want to kind of have the guests, but like I say, it's just chasing them up. Like, are you still want to record this mix? Oh yeah, I want to record it, and then obviously they don't ever get round to it. So I'm a little bit unsure of what name I'm gonna go for. I did have a name in mind, and then something else kind of launched. Sort of has only just launched, and it's not the same name, but it's a similar name, and it's got like the same. It's got like the same. It's got the same word. There's a word in the title that's the same, and it kind of thought like if I just come out now and say, oh, I'm gonna be doing this, it's gonna almost like sound like I'm just copying them. But I like my original idea wasn't obviously copying them. I didn't know they was obviously even going to be doing a thing. Um, I got mine from something from years ago that I wanted to kind of like retake back, and sort of like do something similar to something that used to happen years ago. And I was going to kind of like take a little bit of their name, but kind of like make it my own. And then someone else went and used like a similar thing, and then I just thought I can't do that. So I want to think of like another name, but I just don't know what to call it yet. But like it's gonna cover like all angles of like hard dance, hard house, hard trance, bounce and donk. Gonna be mainly like anthems and like cheesy stuff and like some harder stuff, but it's not gonna be like because a lot of people who like the old hard trance and the old uprising days, they say like all this cheesy stuff is not, like it doesn't compare and it's too cheesy for me. It's not going to be like the old uprising days, I can assure you that, but there'll definitely be some like spells in well. Think of tunes like Heaven's Cry. If you're an Hard House fan, you'll know what the song is. It'll be stuff like that, and then there'll be hard bounce, and then there'll be like, like the latest bounce anthems as well. People's production and stuff, and but I want to launch it anyway because I just think it's well overdue. I've wanted to do like a DJ podcast for like a very long time. What I'd really alternatively like to do, I'd love to do like a little bit of a different sort of podcast. Like I'd like to do a more sort of like radio orientated, like a talking sort of like music podcast. I'd love to do like almost like like sampling of tracks, like looking at dance tracks and seeing like where they come from, what samples they've used, and sort of like having a general sort of like discussion about music on a podcast is something that I would like really like to do. But I just think personally, that is just going to be a little bit too difficult at the moment. But I guess like never say never, something that could obviously happen going forward. You never know. So the next thing I want to talk about is a website. So a website is something that I've wanted to do for a very, very long time, and I definitely want to like tick it off the bucket list, and I want to have like I want to have like a proper website where people can like come onto the website. All my dates for bookings will get put onto the website. All links to my recent tracks. So if I have like something out on Excite, there'll be a link to my to Excite, to where you can find my tracks, and then there'll be like the album covers on there of all the tracks that all the tracks that obviously I've released and stuff like that, and then there'll be a link to like all my mixes and stuff and all my social medias and a little like biography about me, and then there'll also be like an option for people to book me as well, and it'll come like straight through to a brand new email that I'm going to set up that will just be like purposely for bookings. It'll be purposely for bookings, and I won't use the email address for anything else. It'll just be purely so the only emails that come through will hopefully be like regarding bookings. Like I won't be signing up to any websites or anything using the email, but it'll just be like a brand new sort of like just email for obviously like where I can check in there and see if anybody's like wanted to book me or anything in that kind of sense, and then obviously we can discuss things and stuff like that regarding the bookings. So that is something that I do want to launch. I do want to get somebody at some point to make me a website where it'll just look all like nice and fancy. Another thing that I probably would like to do is probably like just get myself smartened up a little bit and maybe have like a photo shoot. So there'd be some like nice sort of like pictures for the website and stuff, and then also like some like artwork and stuff that, you know, for like promo mixes and stuff, and you know, just so I'm sort of like promoting and pushing myself a little bit more. That's obviously something that I'm obviously like keen on sort of like doing. It's just sort of like getting round to doing it, I suppose, when I'm in like quite a little bit of a sort of like busy schedule of always like working and doing things, and then like there's a gig at the weekend, and then before you know it, it's back to the weekdays, and you're back working again, and stuff like that. And you know, it's almost kind of just like this like ongoing circle of, you know, of like always doing something. So that's obviously the thing. So that's obviously something that I do want to like sort of like focus on. The next thing that I want to do is upgrade the DJ equipment, because my DJ equipment is not in that best of a condition anymore. My Newmark CDJs, they are sadly on their way out. They just don't work as well as they used to do, and they're not working well, and they're like making the tracks like skip and jump, and they're not reading the BPMs properly, and sometimes like it comes to the point where you'll have to actually like switch one of the CDJs off and then switch it back on, just to kind of get it sort of like working again, because it'll go into like a mode where like the track will freeze, and then like nothing on the USB stick will load, and it's a little bit of a shame. Now, the only issue, you know, with upgrading is it costs a lot of money. But I've found some CDJs that you can finance pretty cheap actually. And if the finance, you know, if I get cleared for the finance, I'm gonna get these two CDJs. Just they're nothing like really magical, but they're by all means like a step up from you know, they're a step up from obviously what I've been using, if that makes sense. And they are like quite new and modern, and the pioneers, and the link and everything. And I'm just thinking, like, you know, for like, you look on eBay, and this is on like you know, literal level. So you look on eBay, and people have said like go for the Pioneer like CDJ 400s, right? And I think to myself like, yeah, all right. They, you know, they look all right. Yeah, they probably work. You know, stick your stick in and play. And yeah, it would. You know, it'd still be an upgrade from what I'm currently on at the moment. However, the only issue is well, it's not really an issue, but when you look at them online, like you can pay like 200, like nearly 300 quid for these CDs, right? And they're second hand, you know, so they're second hand. You don't know, like, because I bought a mixer on eBay second hand, and it lasts me a month, and the thing went and doesn't turn on anymore. So you know, the thing about that is they can tell you in the description that everything works all fine and dandy, and then you get it home, and then for all you know, like there could be a button that doesn't work, there could be the pitch might not work, or the jog wheel might stick and not spin. Like there's so many things that just because they tell you in the description that everything is all like fine and onky dory, it doesn't mean that everything is all fine and onky dory. So when I looked on the website, and it was like literally about 15 quid a month, like just to get one CDJ on finance. So obviously if you add the both of them, so I think when I added the both of them up, it was like, I don't know if it was like £30.80 or something a month, like just to get two CDJs on finance. You pay like you pay something like £120 deposit, like on the purchase, and then you'll have like a direct debit coming out like once a month of like 30 pounds 80 pence or something. And I just thought, like, for the sake of that, like I can have two like fairly modern CDJs that that work with Rekordbox. You can link them. They're new and modern. And they work, and they'll work like somewhat better. And then the only thing I've got to like really worry about after that is kind of like getting my hands on like a mixer. And then I know obviously last time I went for something a little bit sort of like second hand, but it would be nice to kind of like just have a look and maybe get something sort of like second hand again, or just kind of say like look, maybe for Christmas or something, and maybe like see if like anybody will just help me out at Christmas to order like a mixer or something. Like I won't be overly like bothered if it didn't come like exactly on Christmas Day, but just the fact of knowing that, hey, look, there's a mixer here, that's on its way, kind of thing. That would be a nice thing. Pardon. Be a really nice thing, but it'd be nice to upgrade because it's like really like when I go like on air and do like radio shows and things, it's like you can hear like the mixer and stuff crackling, and like I say, the CDJs like that they skip and jump, and then they end up freezing, and the USB sticks won't load when they freeze, and it's just not the best thing. So I just thought, it's time to upgrade. So like I say, I had a look, and all I've got to do is just like apply for the finance, and then I've got like these CDJs. Essentially, they'll come on order and they'll get delivered to my house, which is good. The only issue is I work quite a lot. So the only thing about it is just like I hate being at work, like my parcel's due to come, so I might just have to like if I know like roughly like a day that it's gonna get delivered, I'll just have to say, look, I'm gonna come in a little bit later because I'm just waiting for a parcel to come that I've got to sign for or something, or I'll just work another day instead, and like make the time up or something, in that sense. But it'll be really nice just to get something a little bit newer, something a little bit nicer as well in that sense, and hopefully there will be like no issues, and there will be some like better sound and stuff coming through when I'm doing like the live streams and stuff, and hopefully my mixing will just sound a bit better as well, and it won't sound as sort of like um sort of like crackly and dodgy, especially when I've got the new mixer. That'll be like a big thing, because that's kind of where a lot of the obviously like the crackling is like coming from, because some of the channels on the mixer I've got, they're out of, they're fading out, they're on the way out, kind of thing. So but to be fair, like I got the CDJs on the Christmas of 2019, and they've literally like had daily use more or less every day, apart from like there's been odd times where I've maybe like not been on them for like 3 or 4 days, or not been on them for a week, and then I'm sure like when I've come back home I've like made up for it, and like gone on them like for ages. And when I'm not like on holiday or anything, or which is very rare, but I'm going on one this weekend. I do normally like use them most days, so they get a lot of use, so you can understand like why I suppose like they'd be going out of date, kind of thing, and why they'd be wearing out, because they're getting all that usage. But yeah, so the CDJs, that is the most definite. So that's something obviously to update myself with. And I guess after that, like I'm just gonna keep on like with the production. I'm like really feel like I'm like developing and improving at the moment, and I'm like really making some sounds that I like, and I'm like really just in general like really happy with like the path that my production's going down, and I'm making some absolutely belting remixes, and I'm getting to the point now where I'm starting to feel more confident about like jumping on like and making some original bounce tracks as well, because a lot of people like there's a big debate that goes around like the music scene, and a lot of people like especially people who aren't really like into the bounce scene as such, but like because it's blowing up, they see it from the outside, but they're always kind of like like, oh, it's just another remix, and all people make are remixes, and I'm getting sick of it. And I kind of like I can kind of understand, like I can kind of relate to it. But at the end of the day, like these remixes, like they don't blow up, like they do well. Don't get me wrong, they do well, and some of them like are absolutely banging. But what I'm saying is they don't blow up, and they don't enter like the UK top 40, and they don't enter the charts, and they don't actually like properly blow up, if you get what I mean. So like at the end of the day, like for like the original artists, like there's no point in them like really doing anything about it, because the thing about like these remixes and the things that go out on like Bounce 7 and Excite Digital is, they're like spoken about within the bounce scene for like a couple of weeks, like when it's first been released, and then it's kind of like just another track in your folder. People aren't necessarily, unless it's something that like really has done well, like I know Lights Go Down, that absolutely smashed it, and that has become like quite a sort of like, I suppose, like the anthem of bounce at the moment. But a lot of the time, like just the next Benjamin track, like I'm not, and this is not me saying like that they're rubbish tracks, because they're not. I like them and I play them. I'll completely admit that. But people don't necessarily talk about them for months, and once that track's kind of out, it's like, right, it's just on to. But the thing about it is when you're in a club, like if you go to a club and you turn up and you play like loads of music that, yeah, might sound really good, and you might have made it yourself, and it might be original, and you might have got your girlfriend's best friend to sing on the vocals, and it might sound like really good. But if people don't hear something in a set that they can't, that they don't recognize, and they can't relate to, and they can't, and they don't know it, it's not interesting for them. And if you turn up and you play a full set just full of like original stuff, like it's not going to work. It's just not going to work. However, if you go like to a set and you play like a set that's like full of remixes, of like well-known stuff that people sing along to and people know, but you do just drop like maybe one or two original tracks in there, like maybe drop an original track sort of followed by a well-known remix of Entrance Set You Free. Like, people are gonna love it more, and people are gonna take notice, because like, you're getting all this kind of like remix stuff, and then something out of the blue that they've never heard before pops up in a set. But there's still stuff that they know, but because it's not just like full of stuff that they don't know, they take more time to listen to it, because it's like one track, and then it'll be back to something they know, and then they might like that track. But like the scene, it wouldn't survive if it was just built upon like original music. So that's why like a lot of remixes take place, and a lot of people like they say like, oh, why don't these people like ever make original music, and why don't these people ever like write something of their own and stuff like that. And I suppose that like another thing, like the truth is, and I'll vouch for this because it helps me massively, but like when you're remixing something else, you've kind of got like the basis like already there. So like, if you're gonna do like say a remix of Alice DJ, Better Off Alone, you already instantly can find out what the key for Better Off Alone is. So you've already got the key that you're gonna work in for the track, right? And then 9 times out of 10 you'll get a MIDI offline. So like the melody's already there, the melody's already wrote, because you're just remixing that track with that melody. Some people do write their own melodies in that key, like which you can do that as well. But what I'm like trying to say is like when you're doing a remix, it's like it's a really good basis to learn from. So like you know, when you're remixing something, like it's really good like as a like a learning platform, because you've got like stuff already there. So like you know, like you can put midis in and you can just put the sounds on the midis, but you can see like how the midis are laid out, and you can see like how the notes are spaced out, and then you can try writing, you know, you can try learning the notes yourself, and then you can try writing and spacing stuff out. And it's just like a really good learning curve, you know, sort of having them like, because if you do something from scratch, like, you know, you've got to think like, right, what key am I going to write this in? What key is it going to be sang in? You know, what's the melody even going to sound like? Do you know what I mean? So like, especially when you're learning, and a lot of these people that are like releasing on Bound 7 and Excite, they're like up and coming DJs and up and coming producers, so they're learning. So they're using these remixes like as a chance to learn. Some people are obviously going in the rebound, and they're having stuff like made for them. You know, but even then, like I suppose people are learning. Like they'll sit with Kenny and they'll learn. And then some people that I know that do go in the rebound have like, you know, started to like sit at home and write their own stuff, like, you know, and start remixing themselves. And like, I just think remixing is like a really good thing. You know, and if anything, it's exposure for the original tracks as well. You know, because sometimes like someone will do a banging remix of something, and then it'll make that person think, I'm gonna go back and play the original now. You know, or it makes someone like dig into their like into their vinyl crate, and I just think it's like a really good thing. Like, and it just keeps the music alive, from it like being boring and dead, because at the end of the day there's all these tracks that have been coming out for years, you know, like great dance tracks, and they shouldn't be forgotten about. Do you know what I mean? Like they was made, someone took time to make them back in the day, and yeah, it might be like 20 or so years ago, but at the end of the day, like they're absolute anthems, and these anthems should live on. And it's great to see that like someone who sang something in 92, like that their track is still getting played in a club now, you know. And that's like, I suppose, like the beauty of it. It's like keeping the music alive, it's reminding people, you know, yeah, there's a remix here, but remember how banging the original was, you know. And then people can go back and they can listen to that original, and I think that in sense is just what it's all about, you know, for me, personally. So yeah, so music wise, I'm going to obviously keep remixing, but I'm going to obviously start sort of like putting some original bits together as well, because I do want to make some original music. You know, it's nice to do that. It's a great thing if you can do it. I really want to like pull off some like clubland sort of vibes, with like my tracks. I want to go with kind of like a real sort of like clubby, sort of happy, bouncy feel, with a hint of rave. I definitely want to make some like some of this kind of stuff a little bit like what David Rust and stuff plays as well. Like I'd love to dive into like doing some of that as well. And just see how it goes. I'd love to make some like house tracks as well, which I started writing one tonight actually, some original. I was just more playing around, and I came up with this like little melody in my head. I think I might be able. I'll be able to show you it actually. I'm on Record Box at the minute, but is it, where is it? Here it is. So if I just show you now. So I wrote this little bass line here that sounds like this. So I'll play it to you. So it sounded like that, and then I started writing like the higher melody for it. Like that. So I started writing which I think if I just take this back, yeah, would have to go there, wouldn't it? So, and then what I did was I started writing like this, so it sounds like this. it's like it's a little bit out of time. It's not. It's actually when you're writing on a MIDI keyboard, it's actually a little bit harder than you think. Like writing on a MIDI keyboard, it's quite hard. Like you don't always get it in time if you like click the notes too fast. But it's like really good at the same time. So that's sort of what I've been doing. I probably won't save it though. I obviously I know the melody in my head, so I could easily like rewrite it, but I was just playing around, like more out of boredom. But definitely want to make some like real sort of like feel good sort of like summer house tunes. But I kind of want to go like and take on like the old school sort of like house vibes, not this sort of like selected deep house and uh, like like modern tech house as such. I kind of want to take the more sort of like classic, sort of like funky house and the like 90s piano house more than sort of like the moderny stuff. Like I think this kind of has a very sort of like modern vibe to it. Something like you could imagine hearing on like selected or something more polished up, obviously. So yeah, and then I suppose other than that, it's just gigs, gigs. We've got three gigs coming up. So we've got so there's Humber Vibe, there's the Rave. Oh man, it's not Rave Logic. My mind's gone blank. With Bonanza. Um, Revolution. Yeah, Revolution. Revolution and Bonanza, where I obviously won the competition. So that's obviously on the agenda. And then there's one. So I got inquired for a booking on the 1st of September. So it's actually the day before the Humber Vibe. So obviously I said to the guy, I said, yeah, of course, put me down. I'm free that day. I've got no bookings, etc. So he said, "Oh yeah, that's cool. It's going to be a foam party, a UK hardcore booking." I was like, "Yeah, cool. Drop me down." At the time, I didn't know it was a UK hardcore booking, so I dropped the promoter a text yesterday, and I said, "Look, have you got a sort of an idea, sort of like what genre?" I'll be playing, like what sort of genre you want me to play, because I said, look, I go away next week, and then the week after is the week leading up to the gig. And if you just sort of give me a little bit of an idea, I'll just have a rough sort of like little browse through some tunes. So I'm not sort of like putting a set together last minute. And he came back to me and he said that he was actually struggling to get hold of a phone machine. So he said that he's going to keep trying to contact set, so it makes it a bit easier for me. I can just plan something and put something together in that sense, and we'll see if it still goes. If not, they might just move the date or something. They might put the date back, but we'll see. And then, like I say, it's the Revolution with Bonanza. I'm emceeing there. And then there was I got approached quite a while ago now. I'm trying to think where I was. I was at the Doncaster warehouse. I know that for sure. And it was an event, and I can't remember what event it was, but there was an event there that I went to, and there was some promoters were playing at the event. I think it might have been a spin back. I think it was maybe the last spin back. But anyway, cutting the story short, they said that there was these promoters said there was a potential booking at Halloween in this event, you know, it'd be close to Halloween, so we'll want you to dress up, blah blah blah. And then I didn't, and then obviously I've not heard anything. And then the event itself, they actually put like a pre-flyer up and said that there's information coming over the weekend. So I'm starting to think now that maybe I'm not on this Halloween booking. I'm just not sure, but I don't think I'm on it because I think they would have like text me or something or like confirmed me. But we'll see. We'll see. I might obviously just text them and say, you know, did you still want me on this Halloween booking? You know, like a room. You know, he said something about a room 2 thing. So I'm not totally certain about that yet. And then there is a booking on the 2nd of December as well. I'm in Birmingham for Bonanza, and I've never been to Birmingham as such, not on the train or anything like that. So we'll have to see what goes down there. But it'll be a nice little birthday treat, most definitely. So yeah, that's gonna do it anyway for the stream. Make sure to like, make sure to comment, share, and we'll see you soon.